This LS Evolve series is brought to you by Keystone Technologies. In this case, their XFit outdoor fixtures. This is a full-featured, comprehensive line of LEDs for outdoors. That's KeystoneTech.com. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Art Hushin. I'm the president and the owner of the National Institute of Crime Prevention. Uh, Being the president since about 1999, we continue to grow. Prior to that, I was assigned to the Tampa Police Department, Tampa, Florida, part of the Special Operations Bureau, where we had a full-time CPTED unit. I was a police officer for 30 years, started my career in a city called McAllen, Texas, down on the border. I have a tradition of law enforcement in the family over the years. From McAllen, I wound up on a lateral program to Tampa, where I was introduced to this program, or CPTED, in about 1992, 93. Was interested in it, got the bug, wound up learning more about it, began applying it to the city where we codified CPTED as part of the zoning code. And then we had interest from the state of Florida, the Attorney General's office, to maybe provide training or enhance the training they currently had to include this as one of the standards. Started doing that in about the mid 90s. And then in 1999, created the NICP. Retired in 2006, maintained or kept my part as a director with the NICP. We continue to grow. We've done training currently in about 45 states. We've been to Canada. We've been to South America, presented in Europe, presented in Asia as well. From that point, we now have the U.S. CPTED Association, which is a network of CPTED practitioners from throughout the U.S. I've served as the physical security, as part of the physical security team for ASIS, or a group called ACES. And currently, I'm on the Security Council for IES as we focus on security lighting and application. Kind of gives you a snapshot of what I've been doing for the last 30, 40 years. So hopefully that covers that. Crime prevention through environmental design started in the 70s by a criminologist by the name of C. Ray Jeffries. And what happened is that CPTED has continued to grow over time. If you think about the application, because we talk about environmental design, think about behavior modification through design. How can I use the built environment to change a person's mindset as they enter the building? Can I do through design, bring them to an entryway? Can I do through design, get them to go to a certain spot? And through design, can I make it more difficult for an offender who might want to come in and commit a crime? When we think about coming into the building itself, we have to include strategies such as lighting. What kind of lighting do I use to enhance the building itself? And use some of the CPTED terminology, for example, focal points and celebrated entryways. So as you approach under the CPTED model, I want you to look at the site, again, guiding you into the building itself, into the designated entryway, because our job is to eliminate all the excuses why people do not comply with the rules. Why are they wandering that way? Why are they sitting there? Why are they parking there? Again, that pulls security out, that pulls staff out to see what they're doing. By using these strategies, natural surveillance, natural access control, territorial reinforcement, and maintenance, we can use them to design a space that really encourages people to come in to the designated space, take ownership of that space, and allow my staff in return to see who's approaching the building, what's taking place around them. So if you think about good design, you're thinking about CPTED. Easy to understand, where I enter the building, how I enter the classroom, where do I go in the park, where do I put, for example, my public restrooms in a park, visually signage and bringing them where they need to go. So again, people feel very comfortable. They feel very safe using that space. We do have the numbers from a variety of universities, a variety of housing groups that have applied CPTED, and we've seen crime reduction as much as 50, 60, 70%. We can go all the way back to Oscar Newman, an architect back in the 70s. We go back to C. Ray Jeffrey. We go back to a variety of educators and practitioners that have shown that if we apply these strategies, again, we can have a reduction in crime. So if we think about it, if we think about how I want to activate a space, do architects, designers ask when they get ready to build a site, how much crime occurs here? Can you give me the crime analysis? In many cases, they don't. That doesn't concern them. Did I meet the objectives for the building? Did I design it the way, for example, the city or county wanted? And did I meet those standards under code? That's what they look at. In no case, with the exception of CPTED, do we see the cities or counties providing that crime analysis. So now we're left to fix the problem after they're gone. Whether it's poor lighting, areas of concealment, ambush point, recessed doorways, we have the numbers to show it does work. For example, a study done at Yale University talked about building setbacks and orientation. We talked about, for example, liquor establishment, the use of CPTED. We know good CPTED designs will drop the incidents taking place on the site. We know CPTED under traffic calming promotes walkability, less opportunity for auto pedestrian accident or auto bike. We know using CPTED in parks, again, that ties into nighttime use with lighting and following the standards, also decrease the amount of crime and calls for service. Each one overlaps the other, though. If I don't have people using the space that feel safe and comfortable, I lose those eyes in the park, the eyes in the street, which in turn, they don't notify law enforcement or they don't bring that positive behavior. People feel safe, they take ownership. If people don't feel safe, they don't use the space. And then we have a different group taking ownership, and we start to see that negative activity. Numbers show it works from Michigan State all the way to Virginia Tech, all the way to the West Coast, to University of Florida. We know it works, and it's just cities sometimes don't see that. Corporations sometimes don't see that. Again, this is a great way to introduce it and show those numbers that, yes, it does have an overall impact on crime. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to all of you and talk about CPTED. I'm very passionate about it. Yet I really try to promote it. I've been involved with this since the 90s, and I really feel it has a positive impact on community safety and pride. Not only that, but economic development and just how we use the space. If you want to learn more about the program, please visit our website under the NICP, which is cptedtraining.net, cptetraining.net. Or if you want to become a member of the U.S. CPTED Association, I encourage you to visit that and become a member today. It's uscpted.com. We're holding our first webinar. We'll be holding our first national conference, and it brings in like-minded individuals to work on a program and really improve CPTED as part of their quality of life.